Welcome, baseball fans, to WCBN sports coverage of Michigan baseball. I'm Leo Blavin, live from McLean Stadium in East Lansing, Michigan, for the final Big Ten series of the year for the Maize and Blue, as they have a home-away series with the green and white of Michigan State. Thursday and Saturday, Michigan will travel up north. Meanwhile, Michigan State will make the trip south to Ann Arbor for tomorrow night's matchup, the final home game of the Michigan baseball regular season. It will be senior day there tomorrow night, and it will be senior day here in East Lansing on Saturday. First pitch tomorrow scheduled for 6 o'clock. 1:05 will be the finale of the regular season for these two sides on Saturday. Today, first pitch moments away as Michigan State turns to their ace, Alex Troop, the sophomore from Illinois. Attended Marmion Academy in Batavia, Illinois. Enters with a record of 7-3 and a 2.62 ERA. Opponents are hitting just .237 against him, but Michigan will get a boost in the lineup this afternoon with the return of K.O. Thomas, who's been out since injuring his hand in that Indiana series back on April 22nd. He was able to play an inning at second base in the field against Eastern Michigan on Tuesday, but he has yet to bat since suffering that hand injury. He'll get the chance to do so as the leadoff man this afternoon for the Maize and Blue. Otherwise, it's the usual order with Thomas as the leadoff man, Slater batting second, Bernard batting third, Lugbauer batting fourth, Lewis, Bivens, Engelman, Kerr, and Wenson rounding out the Michigan lineup. Nick Poirier being replaced by Jimmy Kerr as the designated hitter. Troop, a lefty, will battle against Alec Renard, with Michigan saving their ace, Oliver Jaski, until tomorrow afternoon's game against Michigan State. Jaski, the reigning two-time Big Ten pitcher of the week, starting in his usual Friday spot. The first pitch here at McLean Stadium is low for a ball, according to home plate umpire Harry Costello. 83 degrees here in East Lansing. 4:02, the official start time of this in-state rivalry battle. The 1-0 pitch is in there for a called strike. 1-1 to K.O. Thomas, getting his first at-bat since April 22nd. The 1-1 is swung down the third base line, just foul. Mark Ewell is occupying the third baseline as the umpire, the first base umpire, Michael Schultz. So we'll do it again at 1-2. K.O. Thomas getting his first swing since suffering that hand injury. Every game he's had an at-bat, he's reached base safely this season. Continues to lead the Big Ten with a batting average of .371 as the leadoff man for the Maize and Blue. The 1-2 pitch from Troop. He lays off as it breaks low and out of the zone. 2-2. Thomas, the Chicago, Illinois native, ready to face the 2-2 pitch. Belted into left center field. The center fielder is Hughes, tracking on it, and makes the catch for out number one. The wind blowing out towards right field. It's a strong gusty wind that should keep the baseball in the ballpark today for these two pitchers, as Johnny Slater comes to the plate for the first time today.
Johnny Slater.
Slater has continued to bat in the two spot since Thomas's injury. Of course, the leadoff man of late has been Jake Bivens, and we'll see how big a boost he gets, as he's really struggled as the leadoff man goes back to his normal spot in the middle of the lineup. Slater takes a first pitch for a strike, 0-1. Troop quick to deliver the 0-1 pitch, misses on a breaking ball low and outside, 1-1. Troop has been the Spartans' Friday starter all year as Slater rips this one into right field. The right fielder, Chmielewski, is over there to make the catch just shy of the warning track. There's a slight hill out in right field, as well as the right field wall, which is measured at a distance of just .302, but it's a 20-foot high wall that left-handed pull hitters will have to clear to get a home run into the banks of the Red Cedar, which occupy the entire outfield behind the wall. That brings up Michael Berdar after Slater flies out to right. The first pitch Berdar sees, he takes all the way for a called strike, 0-1. Troop 5th in the Big Ten so far this year with an ERA of 2.62. His opponent batting average of 237 is 8th best in the conference. And his 73 strikeouts ranked 5th in the Big Ten. He's looking for his first today, ahead 0-2. In there, called strike 3. As Troop gets his first strikeout of the afternoon, it sends us to the bottom of the first. Good start to the game for the green and white as the Michigan Wolverines go down in order. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball.
Listen, my life changed because someone was there to get me to use drugs. No one can understand. People think that having someone who will listen makes it better. I need help.
I'm listening.
I need help. I think that having someone who will listen makes it better. People understand. No one can get me to use drugs. My life changed because someone was there to listen.
Go to heretolisten.com for tips and tools to turn addiction around. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her?
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge?
Got to get this all straightened out. Keep a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve! Is now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend?
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Listen.
University, the center fielder, number 33,
Brandon Hughes will lead things off for Michigan State this afternoon here at McLean Baseball Stadium. The Wolverines go down in order in the top of the first, and that sets up Michigan's right-hander Alec Renard, the 6'3", 210-pound junior, enters this game with a 6-1 record and a 3.92 ERA since replacing Ryan Newdoff as the mid-weekend starter in Big Ten play. He gets the start today, so Jaski can maintain his usual 7-day rest period in between Friday starts. Renard last pitched on Saturday against Purdue, pitching just 4 2/3, allowing 2 runs on 4 hits, so he should be well rested going on 5 days rest. However, he's missed the zone on the first 2 pitches he's delivered to Brandon Hughes. The 2-0 pitch as his hat comes off in this blustery wind here at McLean Stadium. In there for a strike. Gets some help from his first baseman, Jake Bivens, puts the cap back on. Michigan in their road alternate maize uniforms. Michigan State in their crisp home white. Green numbers for the Spartans. Michigan with the blue numbers and Michigan spelled across the chest. The 2-1 to Hughes is over the outside part of the plate. A fastball for a called strike, 2-2. Hughes batting .337 on the year as the leadoff man for the green and white. Takes a swing and misses as Renard strikes down the first batter he faces so far this afternoon at Michigan State.
batting second for Michigan State.
A nice start for Renard, his 58th strikeout of the season. Just 11 walks on the year for the Santa Rosa, California native. The next man up for the Spartans is Bryce Kelly, taking all the way on a first pitch out of the zone. A strong top of the lineup for Michigan State. All 3 of the first batters Renard will face batting over .330. Kelly with a team high .352 batting average as the count now at 1-1. The 1-1 pitch over the outside part of the plate once again for a called strike. Kelly taking all the way there. The count now 1-2 as Renard looks for back-to-back Ks to start the game on the rubber. The righty sets from the windup, delivers, swing and a miss. 2 strikeouts to start the game for Renard. Both of them swinging.
The designated hitter, number 24, Chad Ross.
We still await our first base runner here in the bottom of the first. Still scoreless between Michigan and Michigan State. This pivotal 3-game series with Michigan still in contention for the Big Ten regular season championship. They'll be keeping a close eye on Happy Valley, where Nebraska plays 3 games against Penn State this weekend. Michigan and Nebraska both with 14 wins to lead the Big Ten. Minnesota with 14 wins as well. Minnesota will play one less Big Ten regular season game after Rutgers got stranded in a snowstorm that prevented them from playing a full 3-game series. They were able to make up 2 of those games in a doubleheader in Minnesota earlier this week, which the Gophers swept. But 3 teams still vying for that Big Ten regular season title.
All balls are sponsored by Auto Owners
Minnesota hosting
Please return
Purdue,
foul balls
so
to the
Michigan will
press
keep
box
their
area
attention to Minneapolis
and
as
receive
well.
time.
They need both those teams to drop 1 game, and if Michigan can get a sweep of the Spartans, they will be your Big Ten regular season champions. They count 0-2 to Chad Ross Kelly as he fouls one up and out of play. The designated hitter for the Spartans looking to avoid becoming the 3rd strikeout victim of the afternoon for Renard. The 0-2 pitch evidently just misses low. It was over the heart of the plate, but Perry Costello grants the ball call to Chad Ross Kelly. Renard sets and quickly delivers the 1-2, swung on and sent to Berdar over at short, fields it off a couple of hops, throws it across the diamond. 3 up, 3 down, go the Spartans. Some efficient pitching to start this game for both sides. We head to the top of the second. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball.
When I was little, I didn't talk for a long time. I liked things to always be the same. Anything new or different would scare and upset me. I was very sensitive to lights and sounds. It was almost like I had bigger eyes and ears than everyone else. So I built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. I didn't like looking people in the eye. It made me feel uncomfortable. I'd throw big tantrums over little things like when my socks didn't match. Sometimes I'd do the same things over and over. Until one day, I found out I had autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I learned how to live with it better.
You can see signs of autism in children as young as 18 months. Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool, and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Welcome back to McLean Stadium on the campus of Michigan State University. I'm Leo Blavin, bringing you WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball. Still without a hit or base runner from either side as we start the second. Both Alec Renard and Alex Troop getting off to great starts for their respective sides on the mound. Alex Troop trots out there for the start of the second inning, where he'll face off against Michigan's power-hitting Drew Lugbauer, who continues to lead the way for the Maize and Blue with 11 home runs. The first pitch he sees from Troop is missed low and outside for a ball 1-0. The right-handed shift is on with the second baseman, Durkin, playing out there in shallow right field. The shortstop, Royce Ondo, playing to the right of the second base bag. So the area between second and third base will be occupied exclusively by the third baseman, Marty Bakina. After a pitch catches the zone, the 1-1 misses high and outside, 2-1 to Lugbauer. First time we've seen Troop get behind a hitter this afternoon. Here in the top of the second, still scoreless between the Maize and Blue and the Green and White. The 2-1 is swung on and missed, 2-2. Troop 74 strikeouts on the year, looking for strikeout number 75 with a 2-2 count to Michigan's slugger Drew Lugbauer. He gets a swing and a miss. The Spartans will go around the horn, back-to-back strikeouts, and as many batters face
Sponsored by Maynard
for Alex Troop.
the leading accounting firm in the Lansing
Out
area.
number 1 brings up Miles Lewis, the left
Batting
fielder.
fifth, the
Lewis
left
also
fielder,
batting above
Miles
300 at
Lewis.
309 for the Maize and Blue. Michigan still working out the kinks with their leadoff man, Akeo Thomas, back from that hand injury, so a few guys have been shuffled throughout the lineup. Lewis no exception. With one out here in the top of the second, he takes a first pitch at the letters, 1-0. Troop at just 18 pitches here in the second inning. Number 19 is ripped down the left field line, foul. Lewis just got ahead of that one. Needed to wait another quarter second longer, and he would have had a double down that left field line. That one landing just 2 feet left of the chalk out in left field. Measured out to 340 along that left field line. 403 in deep center field, and once again there's a hill out in right field, much like the old configuration at Minute Maid Park where the Houston Astros play. This one occupies the entire center to right field wall. Will be something that certainly Shimoleski is used to as the Michigan State Spartans right fielder. Engelman, that'll be an adjustment he has to prepare for in the 2 games they'll play here at East Lansing's McLean Stadium. The 1-2 pitch fouled up behind the netting by Miles Lewis, so we'll do it again at 1-2. Lewis trying to avoid becoming the 3rd straight strikeout victim for Alex Troop, who's already ready to go. Lewis taking his sweet time getting back in the batter's box, adjusting his helmet, now flips the hair back and gets ready to face the 1-2 pitch with one out here on the top of the second. Takes a swing and misses underneath it. Back-to-back strikeouts to start the second inning for Alex Troop, who now has 76 strikeouts on the year, making easy work of the Michigan lineup the first time through is the sophomore.
Appreciate your
And Michigan
support.
State ace has lived up to that billing so far through 5 hitters.
Number 18.
That brings up Jake Bivens, who struggles have been well documented as the leadoff man with Akeo Thomas back. Bivens can drop back in the lineup in a more comfortable position. He's batting 6th today for the Maize and Blue. Takes a first pitch in there for a called strike 0-1. 2 outs in the inning, the 0-1 pitch. Bivens lays off it as it breaks out of the zone, 1-1. Troop at just 24 pitches, making efficient work through 2 innings. The 1-1 pitch. Misses high and outside, 2-1. Michigan just looking to get a runner on base for the first time today. The 2-1 to Bivens. Misses low, 3-1. Bivens now with a hitter's count against Troop, on the verge of giving up his first walk here in the second inning. The 3-1 is swung on, a high tapper that's fouled off the leg of Bivens. He has to shake that one off and step back in the batter's box with the count full against Alex Troop, who has 3 straight strikeouts, including 2 to start this second inning. A nice crowd on hand here for a beautiful baseball setting. Just a few clouds in the sky here in East Lansing. The payoff pitch. A called strike 3. Bivens was already jogging over to first. Perry Costello will cut that journey short. He rings him up. 4 straight strikeouts for Alex Troop. Sends us to the bottom of the second here at McLean Stadium. We're still scoreless on WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball.
Attention men under the age of 35. You know what really impresses the ladies? When a guy has a few drinks and later gets pulled over for buzz driving. That could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. There goes let's grab dinner and a movie. Oh, I know. You drive more carefully when you're buzzed. You've proven that hundreds of times. A woman admires that kind of confidence. And you've practiced how to speak if a cop does pull you over. Slowly, clearly, and politely like, "Good evening, officer." A woman admires that kind of foresight. And what woman doesn't find it adorable that you call it buzzed even though the law calls it drunk? You could kiss $10,000 goodbye, along with any chance of having a girlfriend. Because nothing says I'm a catch more than a guy who lives in his parents' basement and calls it my place.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I wasn't prepared to be a caregiver to Mom. I had no idea how hard it would be and what I would need to know. Things I never thought of, like how to improve her mood and ways for me to stay positive. Luckily, I found the Caregiving Resource Center from AARP. It had articles about the basics, but also information about the hurdles I was facing.
Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving. Articles, tips, and tools to help you both care for your loved one and care for yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Bottom of the second frame here in East Lansing. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball. I'm Leo Glavin. The Wolverines have been held without a base runner so far. It's looking like it's going to be a pitching duel between Alec Renard and Michigan State's superstar ace Alex Troop, who already has 4 strikeouts this afternoon. We'll see if Renard can match him toe-to-toe as he gets set to start the second inning from the rubber. He'll be facing off against Michigan State's cleanup hitter Dan Durkin, who's batting .278 on the year with 40 RBIs and 8 home runs, which is a team high for the Spartans, as is that 40 RBI total. He misses a first pitch out of the zone. The 1-0 nearly gets a piece of Durkin, who has to step back from the left-handed batter's box. 2-0. Renard readies from the windup. The righty sets, delivers, just misses outside. 3-0 to Durkin. Durkin, who's walked 25 times this year. The wind blowing out towards right field, where he's looking to pull the baseball from that left-handed batter's box. The 3-0 paints the black on the outside corner. 3-1. Berdar, the shortstop, slightly shifted towards second base as this one's popped up and out of play to run the count full. Thomas about split even between the first and second base bag, with the first baseman, Jake Bivens, 6 or 7 feet from the first base line. The payoff pitch misses outside, and Michigan State has a base runner aboard for the first time today. Dan Durkin walks on a full count ball. So we have our first base runner of this game to lead off the top, or the bottom of the second rather, still scoreless between Michigan and Michigan State as Matt Byers comes to the plate. Michigan State currently in 9th in the Big Ten standings. Of course, the top 8 earn an automatic berth, and the only 8 berths into next weekend's Big Ten tournament. The Spartans trying to avoid missing the tournament for the first time since 2013. They'll have their eyes on Evanston, where Northwestern plays host to Rutgers this weekend. Michigan State currently a game back of the Wildcats with an overall record of 28-21. Minnesota continuing to lead the conference at 14-6. Nebraska at 14-6-1. Both ahead of Michigan, who's at 14-7 in the conference standings. First pitch strike to Byers. The 0-1 pitch to follow it is swung on and missed. 0-2. Nice response from Renard after giving up the leadoff walk to start this second inning. Dan Durkin over at first base is 5 for 8 on stolen base attempts this season. Michigan State is a team converting just under 80% of their swipe bag attempts. The 0-2 misses outside. Byers doesn't chase. 1-2. The first pickoff is over there, not in time, but a tag still applied nonetheless by Bivens to try to keep Dan Durkin honest as the first base runner Renard's faced. He's got a quick move for a righty over to that first base bag, showing the Spartan base runners will have to be keenly aware of as this game progresses. The 1-2 pitch. That one misses low and outside. To Matt Byers, as the count now even at 2-2. The crowd continuing to file in here at McLean Stadium for this early start in a midweek game. The 2-2 fouled up over the netting behind home plate. We'll do it again at 2-2. No lights here at McLean Stadium, so every game they play here at Michigan State, a day game. But being it's midsummer, a lot of school children on hand, and a very good crowd for this in-state battle. Hope you guys can make the trip to Ann Arbor tomorrow night for Michigan's final home game of the regular season. Of course, the Maize and Blues still hopeful they'll have a chance to host an NCAA tournament regional and currently ranked 15th in the coaches poll. Of course, the top 16 teams do get to host one, but it's determined by a selection committee, not any rankings. Michigan hoping to bolster their resume with a sweep of the Spartans this weekend, as well as a Big Ten tournament title next weekend, as this pitch at a count of 2-2 just misses outside to run the count full. Runner at first base is Dan Durkin. Still no one out here in the bottom of the second. Scoreless between Michigan and Michigan State. The payoff pitch to Byers is fouled, and we'll do it again at 3-2. Renard's 30th pitch upcoming here. With a runner at first base, the double play ball still very much a factor. Byers has to put this one in the air. Instead, he'll swing and miss. He goes down swinging, one away here in the bottom of the second. Renard with his third strikeout of the afternoon. Which brings up the third baseman, Marty Bacchina. Has the worst batting average of the Michigan State starters at just .261. As the Spartans trying to take advantage of the man at first base in Dan Durkin, who reached via a leadoff walk to start this second inning. We'll see if Bacchina goes small ball here. After we didn't see Byers show bunt. Renard will throw a pickoff over to his first baseman, Bivens, who applies the tag late on the numbers. Bacchina swings at a breaking ball low and outside, 0-1. Bacchina leads the team and is tied for 7th in the Big Ten with 29 walks this season. He's also been hit by 11 pitches, which is good for 7th in the conference. If he takes a walk or gets hit by a pitch here, it'll advance Durkin into scoring position, but he's now behind 0-2 and has to get defensive at the plate. After taking a pitch that appeared to be low and outside, but home plate umpire Perry Costello rings it up as a strike. As Renard looks for back-to-back Ks. The same way he started this game, he's looking to continue here in the second after he rung up Brandon Hughes and Bryce Kelly to start things in the first. A leadoff walk here in the second allowed Dan Durkin to reach safely. And he struck out Matt Byers, looking for the strikeout here against Bacchina with the count at 0-2. From the stretch, delivers, just misses outside, 1-2. K.O. Thomas back in there at second base. Berdar the shortstop. Lugbauer over at third, Bivens at first. Wenson behind the plate from left to right in the outfield. You have Lewis, Slater, and Engelman, the usual starters, with Renard on the bump. Once again, his hat comes off mid-pitch as he misses low to run the count to 2-2. As they pipe in some marching band music here at McLean Stadium. Bacchina battling back from down 0-2 to run the count to 2-2. Has to remain defensive at the plate. Renard has to find the strike zone. Durkin still over at first, looking to run perhaps. He'll stay. The 2-2 is defensively chopped at and meekly fouled by Bacchina, who was indecisive, but did just enough to get a piece of the baseball to stay alive in the batter's box. McKenna, a sophomore from Chicago, Illinois, by way of St. Rita High School, swings at a fastball and misses. Back-to-back strikeouts for Alec Bernard, and he's 1 out away from getting out of the inning after giving up the leadoff walk to Durkin, who remains at first base. Number 55, Zach McGuire, the first baseman, up now, batting .277 on the year for the Michigan State Spartans. McGuire has 14 multi-hit games this year, as both teams still looking for their first base runner, not via a walk, which is how Dan Durkin reached to start this bottom of the second inning. 2 away as Renard sets and delivers to McGuire, missing outside. The throw from home to first by Wenson is not in time. 1-0. We know Wenson behind the plate loves to get aggressive as a catcher, try to gun guys down. Hasn't had a chance to have his arm tested on a throw to second by Durkin yet, but doesn't mean Wenson won't try to gun him down. Just jogging back to first base, which is where Durkin remains with the count 1-0 between Alec Renard and Zach McGuire. The 1-0 lined up the middle, the first hit of the game. Keeps the inning alive here in the second. Durkin will hold at second base. And Zach McGuire is aboard with a 2-out single here in the second as Renard's cap came off once again in this blustery wind here at McLean Stadium.
The right fielder, number 21,
Dan Shimoleski will keep the Spartan offense up at the plate. Shimoleski, the 8 hitter for the green and white with a batting average of .291 on the year. After Zach McGuire gets the first base hit of this game with a 2-out single. Durkin at second in scoring position as Shimoleski takes a first pitch strike from Renard, who's worked himself into a bit of trouble here in the second inning. Up to 39 pitches. The 40th is swung on and missed, 0-2. Renard looking for his 5th strikeout early on in this game. Sets from the stretch. The 0-2 is swung on and sent into right field. Engelman will have to make a throw to the plate if he elects to do so. It's coming in. It'll be cut off. And the Spartans have the first run of this game. A 2-out single into right by Dan Shimoleski gives MSU a 1-0 lead. As Durkin came from second to score at home, running on contact with 2 outs in the inning. McGuire over to third base, and the Spartans not done yet as Engelman's hat comes off in right field, which will lead to a slight delay. Still 2 outs in the inning, but the Spartans strike first here at McLean Stadium. It's 1-0 MSU. Good piece of hitting there by Shimoleski. Back-to-back singles for the green and white has allowed McGuire to advance to third and the Spartans to plate the first run of this game. That brings up the 9-hitter Royce Ondo. Renard's pitch to him gets by Wenson. Wenson will run back behind the plate to pick up the baseball, but there will be no play at the plate. Diving in head first is McGuire as the Spartans take a 2-0 lead here in the second as Renard starting to unravel in East Lansing on a wild pitch that got through the wickets of Michigan's catcher Harrison Wenson. The Spartans double their lead. Nice alert base running by Zach McGuire, who couldn't afford to hesitate as that one didn't get far behind Wenson, but McGuire charging in aggressively and dives home head first to plate the Spartans' second run this second inning. Royce Ondo ahead 1-0 and now 2-0 as that pitch misses at the letters. Shimoleski on the passed ball, advancing to second. Officially a pass ball, so the run unearned against Renard after giving up the earned run on the Shimoleski single to right. The Spartans have a 2-0 lead here in the second, which might be a big mountain for the Wolverines to climb with how well Alex Troop has looked on the mound for the green and white so far in this game. The 3-0 pitch in there for a called strike against Ando. 3-1 with Renard looking to respond against early adversity. He was one pitch away from getting out of the inning unscathed. The 0-2 to Shimoleski was grounded into right to plate the first run, and then a passed ball plates the second. Shimoleski in scoring position for this 3-1 pitch to Ando, which misses outside. And Ando extends the inning with a 2-out walk. Runners at first and second for the top of the order, which brings up Brandon Hughes, who struck out swinging back in the first.
Center fielder, Brandon Hughes.
So Shimoleski remains at second base, Ando at first base for the center fielder Brandon Hughes, as Wenson comes out of his crouch to conference with the pitcher Renard, and now Michigan's pitching coach Sean Kenny will come out to the rubber, as will the rest of the Maize and Blue infield, as this inning has started to get away from Renard, who's now at 46 pitches. No activity to speak of yet from the Michigan bullpen, which is in foul territory over in right field. Michigan State's bullpen is shielded by a fence, the same luxury not afforded to the visiting side, which occupies the first base dugout here at McLean Stadium. As home plate umpire Perry Costello comes out to break up the mound visit, Sean Kenny, the pitching coach, heads back to the Michigan dugout. As the leadoff man, Brandon Hughes, returns to the plate, batting .309 on the year with runners in scoring position, as is the case here with Shimoleski at second and Royce Ando at first base. 2-0 Michigan State leads it here in the bottom of the second. 2 outs still for the Spartans. And the right field shift is on with the second baseman Akeo Thomas playing on the shallow fringe outfield grass out in right field, and Bernard hovering over the second base bag at his shortstop position, playing for a pull from the left-handed Brandon Hughes. The first pitch from Bernard misses the zone. The 1-0 is popped up and out of play, 1-1. Michigan entered this game with a Big Ten best 3.16 team ERA, but the Spartan offense has no trouble getting to work here early. As a team, the Spartans averaging just under 300 in terms of team batting average. The 1-1 is popped up into left field. This should end the inning. Hard charging is Lewis, and a near collision allows the baseball to drop. 1 run will score. Ando coming around all the way from first. He slides in safely. It's 4-0 on a fielding miscommunication between Bernard and Lewis. The shortstop, Bernard, tracked out into medium depth left field. Lewis had to call him off. Evidently didn't do enough to do so as it drops between them. It's 4-0 MSU.
Left fielder, number 17, Bryce Kelly.
Great base running by Royce Ando, who, again, with 2 outs in the inning, running on contact, but as that baseball fell, somehow it was hung up long enough that Ando was able to come around all the way from first to score without a play at the plate. It's 4-0 MSU, getting to Alec Renard here early. As a harmless pop-up into left field somehow dropped between the shortstop Bernard and the left fielder Miles Lewis off the bat of Brandon Hughes. And it didn't touch either of them, so it will not be an error, simply a double, but a mental error nonetheless. Two-run score, the 0-1 pitch here to the number 2 hitter for Michigan State. Bryce Kelly is fouled over towards the Michigan State dugout. It's now 0-2 as Renard looks for a strikeout to end the inning. Kelly struck out swinging in the first. Nearly struck out looking, but that pitch just misses inside 1-2. Four runs scored so far here in the second. Hughes in scoring position at second base as the Spartans looking to continue the onslaught here early on. The 1-2 just misses outside. The count now even at 2-2. Brandon Hughes a threat to swipe a base as well. The Michigan State program record holder after swiping his 30th bag last weekend, which is the best in program history in a single season. He's been caught just 5 times all year. The 2-2 pitch is a breaking ball that catches enough of the plate on the outside corner to ring up Bryce Kelly. So Alec Renard strikes out the side, but not before the Spartans plate 4. We head to the top of the third. It's Michigan State 4, Michigan nothing on WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball.
For the Spartans.
When is the best time to talk to your family about staying in touch during a disaster? Amid the chaos? Or is the best time perhaps today? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Juice, Mom! Juice, juice, juice! Mommy, why are we going to the store? Mom, I want juice! Mom! Juice, juice,
Mommy!
Juice, juice,
Mom!
Juice.
Your child will have different needs at different stages of life, and that includes the car seat. That's right, the car seat. A car seat isn't one size fits all. You have to have the right seat based on your child's age, weight, and height. See, car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. But there's a website that gives you all the information you need. safercar.gov/the-right-seat. You'll find out about types of seats, when to have a seat rear-facing, when to switch it to forward-facing, when it's time for a booster seat, and when it's time for your child to ride in the back seat with a seatbelt. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. Go to safercar.gov/the-right-seat. That's safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Major key alert, don't ever play yourself. You want to get that paper to secure the bag, you better turn in that paper and get an A+.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at GetSchooled.com.
The key is to make it, so make it.
Brought to you by Get Schooled and the Ad Council.
After Michigan State plates 4 runs in an adventurous second inning for Michigan defensively, 2 runs plated on a miscommunication between the shortstop Michael Berdar and the left fielder Miles Lewis that allowed a 2-out ball to drop into left. Michigan State returns to the field as Alex Troop has a lot of run support, and not that he needs it. He's been lights out, retiring Michigan in order through 2 innings. That brings up the 7-hitter Jonathan Engelman, who takes a first pitch out of the zone. The Maize and Blues still looking for their first base runner of this game. The 1-0 to Engelman misses low for a ball, 2-0. Four runs, the most Michigan's given up since May 10th at Central Michigan, when Michigan lost on a walk-off double into right field that allowed the Chippewas to pull off the upset 4-3. Since then, it's been smooth sailing for the Wolverines, who swept Purdue and on Tuesday defeated Eastern Michigan 12-4. The 3-0 catches the inside part of the plate, 3-1. But for whatever reason, the in-state foes have had no trouble plating runs of late against the Maize and Blue, 4 for Eastern and 4 for Central. Now Michigan State has 4 through 2 innings as the 3-1 pitch is popped up in the infield, so Michigan will have to wait at least another hitter to get their first base runner. The third baseman, Bakina, catches it in foul territory just shy of the third base bag for out number 1 to start the third.
Batting 8th, the designated hitter, number 15, Jimmy Kerr.
That brings up Michigan's designated hitter, Jimmy Kerr. The normal designated hitter, Nick Poirier, being replaced by Kerr, who was red hot, replacing the previously injured Akeo Thomas at second base, with Thomas back in the field. Michigan's head coach Eric Bakich electing to not take out the red-hot Jimmy Kerr, the redshirt sophomore from Scottsdale, Arizona. Takes a first pitch in there for a called strike, 0-1. The 0-1 evidently just misses inside, belt high, 1-1. Perry Costello, a very strict and tight strike zone here early, one that Troop has worked to perfection. The 1-1 is popped up and out of play. Troop already has 4 strikeouts this afternoon, looking for strikeout number 5 in a sophomore-on-sophomore matchup between Troop and Kerr. Michigan's designated hitter readies from the left-handed batter's box to take the 1-2 pitch. Low and outside, called strike 3. 5 strikeouts on the afternoon for Alex Troop as Kerr goes down looking for out number 2 here in the second, or in the third rather, with Michigan State on top 4-0. As the 9-hitter coming up, Harrison Wenson, whose batting average is dipped below the Mendoza line at 199. The left fielder for Michigan State, Bryce Kelly, playing just shy of the warning track out in left, where the wall is measured out at 340 for the right-handed pull hitter Wenson. The first pitch he sees from Troop is inside, but a called strike as Wenson's hips went back, but it wasn't enough to fool the home plate umpire Costello. Troop readies from the windup once again. The lefty sets, delivers the 0-1. Inside again, but a called strike. Wenson trying to sell it, but to no avail. 0-2. Wenson now has a brief discussion with Costello behind the plate. He'll step out, kick off the dirt. All natural here at Michigan State's Cobbs Field at McLean Baseball Stadium. Everything from the dirt to the grass. Real, not like you'll see at Ray Fisher Stadium, where these two teams will meet tomorrow night at 6 p.m. The 0-2 pitch to Wenson. Misses high and outside. 1-2. The 1-2 pitch swung on and fouled into the Michigan State dugout. Along the third baseline, we'll do it again at 1-2. Good at bat being put together by Wenson. Michigan still looking for their first base runner of the game. 2 outs here in the top of the third. Michigan State on top 4-0. The 1-2 to Wenson is spiked in the dirt, but blocked by Byers the first time he's been tested behind the plate. The count now even at 2-2. Two gone. The count at 2-2. Twos across the board here at McLean Stadium. The pitch on its way, swung on and missed inside, dropped third strike. The throw over to first is in time as Wenson goes down swinging. That's 6 strikeouts to start this game through 3 innings. For Alex Troop, we head to the bottom of the third. Michigan State leads the Maize and Blue 4-0. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball.
When it comes to saving money, don't act like a baby. Goo goo gaga. Be the boss and make a budget.
I'm the boss, baby.
You're the boss of me.
I am the boss of you.
Are not.
M2.
Are not.
M2.
Need a little help?
Aren't you gonna do any work?
I'm very busy delegating.
Create a personalized savings plan.
We can share.
You obviously didn't go to business school.
And get other tools and tips at feedthepig.org. Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Dear John, I'm leaving. Uncontrolled high blood pressure is serious, and I can quit whenever I want. Why can't we get back to when you checked on me? I don't want to leave, but remember, when I quit, you quit. Sincerely, your heart.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. High blood pressure can lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range today. Find out how at heart.org/bloodpressure. A message from the American Heart Association, the American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
It's 6:42 p.m. Time for Steve Plotto and his son Dylan to do the dishes. They talk about everything from the yuckiness of girls to the awesomeness of his soccer team. Sometimes they don't talk at all. Then, hey! The dreaded splash fight. It's Dad o'clock, and it's the best time of the day. Because the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Chad Ross Kelly.
Bottom of the third here at McLean Baseball Stadium. Michigan State plated 4 runs in the bottom of the second as we start the bottom of the third. The green and white looking for more with Chad Ross Kelly leading things off. Renard back out on the rubber. His 52nd pitch of the afternoon. A curveball low and outside. 1-0. Three hits for the Spartans last inning. All 4 runs plated in the previous frame with 2 outs. Ross Kelly swinging and pops this one up sky high into shallow center field. The shortstop Berdar tracks it down and makes the catch. No miscommunication this time. Out number 1 to start the bottom of the third.
Now batting for the Spartans, number 9, Dan Durkin.
That brings up the second baseman, Dan Durkin, who walked to lead off the inning in the second. He was the first Spartan to come around and score. As part of that 4-run second inning, Michigan State leads Michigan 4-0 here on WCBN Sports coverage of the Maize and Blue baseball. The first pitch from Renard to Durkin this inning is missed outside, but the 1-0 is too enticing for Durkin to lay off it. The check swing. Home plate umpire Costello says he went. 1-1. The 1-1 paints the black on the outside corner. 1-2. Popped up into left field. Berdar, another tough play. This time he makes it very clear it's his ball to play. And he gets the catch for out number 2. Waving the arms to get both Miles Lewis and the third baseman Lugbear out of his path. Miscommunication has been corrected after a crucial drop in left center field, or in shallow left field, I should say, allowed the Spartans to add to their lead. 2 runs scored on that pop-up last inning. Good to see Renard bounce back here in the third, quickly retiring the first 2 Spartan batters he's faced here in the bottom of the third frame, and now has an 0-1 count against Matt Byers, who fouled off the first pitch he saw here in the third after striking out swinging in the second. The 0-1 is a swing and a miss, 0-2. The 0-2 pitch just misses outside, 1-2. He swings and misses at the third strike, and that'll send us to the top of the fourth. Renard now
Nothing across for the Spartans in the bottom half of
6
the third
strikeouts.
Inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, no.
However, he needs the bats to come alive to help him out. We head to the top of the fourth. Michigan State still leads at 4-0 on WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Hey y'all, I'm Blake Shelton. I love that country music connects people all over this great nation, but unfortunately so does something else, childhood hunger. 15 million children struggle with hunger in America. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks works to rescue our surplus food to help provide billions of meals to families in need across the country. Join the fight against hunger at feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Teo Thomas gets his second at-bat in his return from that hand injury he suffered back on April 22nd against Indiana. Thomas flew out to center in his first time up, trying to spark a Michigan rally with the Wolverines trailing 4-0 here as we start the top of the fourth at McLean Stadium. Thomas behind 0-1, now 0-2 as he fouls a tapper down the third base line. The 0-2 pitch line back up the middle, and he'll go down the same way he did in the first with a fly out to center here in the fourth. As Troop remains red hot, he's retired the first 10 he's faced.
Fielder, Johnny Slater.
Out number one paves the way for Johnny Slater, who flew out to right back in the first, trying to provide Michigan their first base runner of this game. Slater takes a first pitch at the knees for a called strike, 0-1. The 0-1 misses low and outside, 1-1. Slater from Southfield Lathrop High School, drafted out of his prep career, has not been drafted since donning the maize and blue uniform, but has certainly played himself into a return status to being an MLB prospect. A couple of scouts on hand for this afternoon's game, and Slater batting above 300 on the year will almost certainly have his name called in the MLB amateur draft in June. The count now at 2-2 as Slater rips a foul down the right field line and into the Michigan bullpen area where we have yet to see any activity. The 2-2 is once again ripped foul. Slater well ahead of that one. Troop with 6 strikeouts already, set from the windup, the 2-2. Just misses low and outside to run the count full to Johnny Slater. As Michigan still just trying to get a guy on base, down 4-0. You can't get it back all in one swing, but you've got to start chipping away at some point, and Troop has not shown any indications that he's willing to concede any runs to the Maize and Blues so far. The payoff pitch is popped up in the infield. The first baseman calling everybody off is McGuire, who tracks it down in fair territory, just 2 or 3 feet left of the right field foul line and shallow right field for the second out of the inning. A nice pitch with the count full, gets Slater to pop up from the pitcher, Alex Troop.
The shortstop, Michael Berdar.
That brings up Michael Berdar, who struck out looking back in the first. And what a fabulous start for Alex Troop, who's retired 11 straight to start the game. Gets a swing and a miss on a breaking ball that Michael Berdar was well ahead of. Michigan State leading it 4-0 here in the top of the fourth. The 0-1 to Berdar is tapped back up the middle weakly. It's going to be a tough play. The shortstop, Ando, fires across the diamond to get the out, making it look relatively easily. The Wolverines have gone down in order all 4 innings to start this game. Great work by Alex Troop has kept the Spartans on top 4-0. We head to the bottom of the fourth. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball.
I'm more resourceful than I thought.
My suit can still make an impression.
My video games are still game changers. And my lamp can bring others a bright future.
Because when I donate my stuff to Goodwill,
It helps fund job placement and training for people right in my community. Now my stuff gets a second chance.
and will give someone in my community
A second chance too.
Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. That's goodwill.org. This message brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Today we decided to walk to school.
At the corner, we waited to cross the street. The stoplight counted down. 15, 14.
31? 13?
We took a left on Carroll Garden Street.
Garden Street? Loud music was coming from a car.
Danny's a smart kid, but he gets so distracted.
There were so many other sounds, I didn't know what to focus on.
Danny, Earth to Danny. Suddenly, he realized he forgot his homework again.
I left my homework on the table.
At the school steps, we hugged goodbye. I really hope he doesn't have another bad day at school today.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. That's why there's Understood.org, a free online resource for the parents of the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues. Get personalized recommendations, practical tips, daily access to experts, and more. Go from misunderstanding to Understood.org. Brought to you by Understood and the Ad Council.
Michigan State leads at 4-0, looking to add to their lead here in the bottom of the fourth. Marty Bikina, the third baseman, leading things off, struck out swinging back in the second. However, it was the bottom of the order that really caused problems for Alec Bernard back in the second inning as part of the 3 hits the Spartans tacked on in that inning, as well as their 4 runs, and he'll have to go against McGuire, Shimaleski, Royce, Ando, and Hughes, who all caused problems throughout this Michigan State lineup for Renard. And the first pitch here in the bottom of the fourth from Renard's right hand is in there for a called strike. The 0-1 just misses. 1-1. One check swing. He went 1-2. The sun shining down here at McLean Stadium. Barely a cloud in the sky here in East Lansing. The 1-2. A curveball misses low and outside. Bikina doesn't chase. 2-2. A nice backdrop. No batter's eye needed. It's a bunch of green trees that line the Red Cedar River that runs just beyond the outfield. They had some major flooding here earlier this year. As this ball driven into deep left center field, the wind's going to try to keep it in the ballpark. It does not, into left center field, clearing the 375 mark out in the deepest part of the yard over the Cobbs Field signia. Goes Marty Bikina for the home run. A solo shot. It's 5-0 as Bikina gets his 7th home run. Correction, that's McGuire's total. Bikina, though, that's home run number 7 for him on the year, and RBI 29. The Spartans continue to hit Renard hard here through 4.
The Spartan first baseman, Zach McGuire.
Not a cheapie, especially with the wind blowing in. It didn't matter. Bikina got just enough on it to clear that wall. This ball off the bat of McGuire back up the middle. Bernard on the run, spins, fires, and gets the play for the first out of the inning. A spectacular throw that normally would be much applauded, but given the previous at-bat, little to celebrate right now for the Maize and Blue. The lead is 5-0 for Michigan State. But a nice play there for Michael Bernard, who remains to be a highlight factory out at shortstop. 6-3 for those scoring at home to get McGuire down on a grounder. Shimilevsky up at the plate. Singled back in the second. Drove in a run and scored a run himself. Takes a big swing and a bigger miss. They count 0-1 between Renard and Shimilevsky. The 0-1 pitch misses low. 1-1. One out here in the bottom of the fourth. The 1-1 pitch backhanded by Wenson. Low and outside. 2-1. Michigan State on top. 5-0 here in the bottom of the fourth. One out. The 2-1 pitch to Shimilevsky. Check swing. Doesn't matter. It was in the zone anyway. 2-2. Shimilevsky pops it up in the infield. Now tracking into shallow left center is the shortstop Bernard for the second out of the inning. 2 gone for Royce Ando. Ando walked in the second and came around to score on that bloop double that dropped between Michael Bernard and the left fielder Miles Lewis back in the second to extend that Spartan inning. Michigan State plating all 4 runs in the second with 2 outs against them. They have 2 outs against him here in the fourth, and Ando with a strike against him after swinging and missing at a first pitch low and outside from the right hand of Alec Renard. The 0-1 pitch fouled in at the hands, 0-2. A nice crowd here at McLean Stadium has been treated to some great baseball from the home side. Already 5 runs against Michigan's usual number 2 weekend starter Renard. The 0-2 pitch spiked in the dirt, not blocked by Wenson. Ando doesn't chase. 1-2. Sent back up the middle. Bernard in a good position. Spins, gets the glove to it, and fires across the diamond. He retires all 3 Spartan outs, but a solo home run by Marty McKenna increases the MSU lead to 5. We head to the top of the 5th. Michigan State leads Michigan 5-0 on WCBN Sports coverage of the Wolverines.
Music is a bridge between the material and the spiritual. My name is Harvey Lauer, and I'm 82. As a blind person, you have to be aware that nobody can tell you what you can or can't do. You really have to try things. My folks got me a little radio in 1940, and that was the best Christmas present I ever got. When I was 11 years old is when I started to play music, play the piano, and then the accordion, and then the cello. My wife, who was also blind, was a good cook. When she died, that's when I started Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
It's Meals on Wheels. 1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
The average time a resume spends on an HR manager's desk is 7 seconds, and most of them are tossed aside. Now imagine if one of those resumes belonged to Yasmin, who was
living in a shelter, juggling 3 jobs. I had to be resilient. That's something that you can't teach.
We rely so much on a resume, yet it could never tell the full story of someone who
had to be independent and take initiative, and that's how I handle every project I get.
Discover new ways to develop great talent at gradsoflife.org. Brought to you by Grads of Life and the Ad Council.
Michigan State leads Michigan 5-0 as the 15th ranked Wolverines in trouble, and a big part of that has been Michigan State's Alex Troop, who has retired The first 12 in order for the Maize and Blue. Drew Lugbauer leading things off here in the top of the 5th, showing bunt with the right field shift on and the infield playing well deep for Michigan's best power hitter. The lefty takes a pitch low and outside, 1-0. Showing bunt once again, lays it down, but foul as he didn't get enough of it going over the top. 1-1. Lugbauer check swings. Did he go? He did, according to Mark Ewell over at third base. 1-2. It was a low pitch out of the zone, but Lugbauer couldn't lay off it. The second baseman, Durkin, playing in shallow right field as Lugbauer takes one out of the zone. 2-2. The shortstop, Royce Ondo, playing 6 or 7 feet right of the second base bag and on the outfield grass, playing for the pull from the lefty. The 2-2 is swung on and sent to opposite field, but well foul off the end of the bat.
All balls are sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Safe, sound, secure for over 100 years.
Troop sets to deliver his 60th pitch of the afternoon. Swing and a miss. Troop 7 strikeouts now as continued to retire the Wolverines in order. They've had absolutely no answer for the sensational sophomore lefty.
The left fielder, Miles Lewis.
That brings up Miles Lewis. Lewis struck out swinging back in the second. Michigan just needs a base runner at some point. Trailing 5-0 here in the top of the 5th with one gone. Lewis pops it up into shallow right field. Shimoleski tracks it down and makes the play for out number 2. Lewis aggressive, swinging at the first pitch. That brings up Jake Bivens. Michigan's first baseman, one of the 7 strikeout victims. As Troop is retired all 14 batters he's faced and has thrown just 62 pitches. 2 gone here in the top of the 5th. Michigan State leading 5-0. The first pitch Bivens sees this at bat is inside for a ball. The 1-0 also misses low and outside, 2-0. Bivens ran the count full his previous at-bat before going down looking. As a hitter's count at 2-0. Troop sets and delivers. Just misses low, 3-0. Good spot here for Bivens. We'll see if he has the green light to swing with a 3-0 hitter's count. He keeps the bat on the shoulder and takes a called strike, 3-1. The 3-1 sent to the second baseman, Durkin. Fires over to first, and the side goes down in order. 3 up, 3 down. Go the Maize and Blue Bats. We head to the bottom of the 6th. Michigan State on top, 5-0. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
When I grow up, I want to be a glass countertop in a new home.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's best birthday present.
When I grow up, I want to be a football stadium.
When I grow up, I want to be a warm fleece on a cold day.
When I grow up, I want to be a fancy backsplash.
I want to be a bike that races around the country.
When I grow up, I want to be a bench on a forest trail.
I want to be a rocking chair on a sunny porch.
I want to be a skyscraper.
I want to be a
When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. A public service advertisement brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
You're not wired to have a response to this sound. You're neutral to it. and you can hear it repeatedly without feeling anything. But when we introduce a new stimulus, save the food, we've achieved pulling a natural or inborn response from you. Save the food, because 40% of all food in the US never gets eaten. Save the food. Cook it, store it, share it. Just don't waste it. For tips and recipes, visit SaveTheFood.com, brought to you by NRDC and the Ad Council.
New pitcher for the Maize and Blue, Ryan Nudoff, who was previously Michigan's #2 starter in the weekend rotation, has since been relegated to some midweek roles. Now coming out of the bullpen to replace Alec Renard, who went just 4 innings, giving up 4 hits and 5 runs. Michigan State with a 5-0 lead as we start the bottom of the 5th. Brandon Hughes to lead things off for the green and white, shows bunt. Loveberry was ready for it, already playing about even depth with the third base bag. Hughes pulled back, but it was still in the zone for a strike. The leadoff man takes a swing and a miss at the 0-1 pitch, 0-2. The 0-2 just missing outside. 1-2 for Ryan Nudoff, making his 14th appearance of the year. Has 11 starts. This will be his 3rd appearance out of the bullpen. He induces a pop-up out to left. Lewis chases it down and makes the catch for out number 1. That brings up Bryce Kelly, who's struck out swinging and looking back in the first and second inning.
Number 17, Bryce Kelly.
Now he gets to face a new pitcher, Ryan Nudoff. Nudoff enters this game with a 6-2 record, but to get win number 7, he's going to need a lot of run support with Michigan down 5-0. And Alex Troop, the starter for MSU, showing no signs of slowing down. Nudoff delivers a first pitch strike, 0-1 to Bryce Kelly here in the bottom of the 5th. The 0-1 in at the hands and popped up over the netting behind the Michigan State dugout. 0-2.
To the sales and marketing staff located near the press box and receive a prize from Auto Owners Insurance.
The 0-2 in at the hands and fouled behind the netting. We'll do it again at 0-2. The 0-2 popped up and out of play. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball. Michigan trails Michigan State 5-0 here in the bottom of the 5th. The 0-2 to Kelly is dropped weakly over to first base, and it is handled by Bivens. His throw off the mark as Nudoff had to leave the mound to cover first base. It got a piece of Kelly, who was charging hard down the first base line. That should be an infield single, and indeed it is.
The designated hitter, Chad Ross Kelly.
Still one out here in the bottom of the 5th, with Bryce Kelly coming to the plate. He's also been a victim of 2 strikeouts in his 2 previous at-bats, both coming against Alec Renard, who's been replaced by Ryan Nudoff here in the bottom of the 5th. Over at first base is Kelly, with Chad Ross Kelly now at the plate for Michigan State. He grounded out to the shortstop and flew out to Berdar as well, both in the first and third respectively. Kelly 13 for 18 on stolen base attempts this year. Michigan, meanwhile, the more aggressive base running team, has yet to have a base runner in this game here through 5 innings. Which is not a great start if you want to come back from down 5-0. But Alex Troop has been absolutely in control on the mound for Michigan State. Newdoff now has to match him pitch for pitch. And then some. They count it 0-2 to Ross Kelly. 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th. The runner goes. It's a hit and run. It's popped up into shallow center field. Thomas makes the play as throw to first, not in time. 2 gone, but Kelly able to get back safely to first base. And that brings up the second baseman, Dan Durkin.
Second baseman, Dan Durkin.
2 gone for Durkin, who walked and scored in the second and popped out 2 short in the third. Durkin, a Tinley Park, Illinois native in his senior year with Michigan State. The pickoff from Newdoff gets over into the Michigan bullpen area. That's going to allow Kelly to head not only to second but to third. He's going to be held up at third. There was going to be a play at the plate as it got caught up in the Michigan bench area over in the dugout. Once again, Michigan State's bullpen is shielded by a fence, but the visiting bullpen here at McLean Stadium does not have that luxury, and it got caught up between all the legs over there on Michigan's bench in that bullpen area, and it allowed Kelly to track all the way from first to third on the errant pickoff attempt by Ryan Newdoff. So a runner now in scoring position with 2 outs for Dan Durkin. And before Durkin even has a pitch thrown his way, he has a chance to plate the 6th run of the game with 1 swing of the bat. 2 gone here still as that pitch misses outside from Newdoff to Wenson. Wenson tried his best to frame it. Unsuccessfully, though. Durkin ahead 1-0. 1-0 pitch, a called strike, 1-1. Michigan may already be out of this game with how well Troop has pitched, but 6 runs certainly will be too much to overcome. Newdoff trying to prevent that run from being plated, and he's ahead 1-2 as Durkin swings and misses. Bryce Kelly remains at third after taking second and third on a wild pickoff throw from Newdoff. The 1-2 pitch to Durkin with 2 gone in the inning inside, and Durkin just dodges it at the last second. Nearly got a piece of him to run the count even at 2-2. Two gone, the 2-2 pitch. Over the outside part of the plate, called strike 3. Newdoff gets his first strikeout of the afternoon. Kelly stranded at third, but the Spartans still lead it 5-0 as we head to the top of the 6th. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball.
They'll challenge your authority. They'll try to break your will. They'll push you to the edge of your sanity. Because that's what kids do. But this car is your territory, not theirs. Defend it. Who makes the payments? Who cleans it? Who drives it? You do. That's who. And in here, your word is law. So when you say you won't move until everyone's buckled up, you won't budge an inch. Until you hear that click. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. For more information, visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup.
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. This cat makes me make art. He's always motivating me to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. He's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
Keyboard Cat, YouTube star and shelter pet. Amazing adoption stories start in shelters. Start yours today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Ladies and gentlemen, once you receive your prize from Auto Owners Insurance, please refrain from throwing those balls onto the playing surface. We thank you. Leading off for the University of Michigan, the right fielder number 2, Jonathan Engelman.
Michigan's Oliver Jaski has won back-to-back Big Ten Pitcher of the Week honors, but Alex Troop is certainly making his case for the final nod this regular season. He's gone 5 innings and starts the top of the 6 here, facing off against Jonathan Engelman with a called strike. Michigan still looking for their first base runner of the game, trailing 5-0 against Michigan State here at McLean Stadium, Cobbs Field, on the campus of Michigan State University. The 0-1 to Engelman. Swung on, and it's sent to the shortstop Ando across the diamond for out number 1. The defense behind Troop has been solid when called upon, but they haven't needed much. That's now 16 batters faced, 16 batters down, 7 via the strikeout, including this man, Jimmy Kerr, who struck out looking back in the 3rd. Kerr's the designated hitter today with the return of Michigan's star second baseman, Akeo Thomas, who every game this year he's had in that bat has reached safely. He played just 1 inning against Eastern Michigan back on Tuesday in his return from the hand injury suffered back on April 22nd against Indiana. Did not get the bat in his hand. He's 0 for 2 today. Jimmy Kerr 0 for 1. But ahead 2-0 here as that pitch is spiked in the dirt. Troop now with 80 strikeouts on the season, including 7 today. Battles back from a 2-0 count to get a strike there, called 2-1. The 2-1 paints the black on the outside corner, 2-2. Troop unflappable so far. The 2-2 is sent foul down the third base line. We'll do it again at 2-2. The 2-2 misses high. Kerr just manages to lay off it to run the count full. Full count with 1 out here in the top of the 6 between Troop and Kerr is popped up and out of play, just tracking left of the Michigan State dugout. Lands on the concrete roof over there to keep Kerr alive. The wind continues to blow out towards right field. Kerr trying to reach base safely and represent the first Wolverine base runner in this game here in the top of the 6, with Michigan State leading it 5-0. 1 gone, the payoff pitch is sent to the third baseman. It gets a piece of his left shoulder, and Kerr is aboard with what should be ruled an error against the third baseman, Marty Bikina. It was a hard chopper that took a high hop, and they're going to initially give him a hit. And that ends the no-hit bid for Alex Troop.
Number 7, Harrison Wenson.
The home scorer doing the starting pitcher Troop no favors. It was a hard grounder, but one that Bikina should have made the play on. Instead, it hopped off his left shoulder and allowed Royce Ando to field it off that high hop, but not before Jimmy Kerr was safely aboard at first base. They'll give him the hit, which is Michigan's first in this game. Good at bat for the sophomore. Paves the way for Harrison Wenson. The catcher takes a big swing and a miss, 0-1. So the no-hit bid goes 5 1/3. And they've taken the hit now off the scoreboard and rightfully changed it to an error. A delayed decision, but it's been made nonetheless. So Kerr reaches via the E5 from Marty Bikina. Wenson puts a charge into this one, but got well underneath it and well ahead of it to send it foul. And the no-hit bid still intact here at McLean Stadium. And the count now 0-2 against Wenson. Kerr aboard at first base via the error off the third baseman, Marty Bikina. One still going here in the sixth. Michigan State leads it 5-0. As the wind continues to swirl out towards right field for the right-handed hitter, Harrison Wenson. Kerr at first base. The 0-2 to Wenson is swung on and sent foul down the third base line. Just left of that third base bag, says home plate umpire Perry Costello, who has to keep his eye on that third base foul line with the second and third base umpire Mark Ewell and Michael Schultz occupying the first and second base bags in this three-man crew. Once again, we'll do it again with the count 0-2 to Wenson. Troop steps off the rubber for a moment and regathers himself. Left hand on the baseball, kicks off some dirt off the home plate mound and gets set for the 0-2 to Wenson. Delivers. Swing and a miss. Foul tipped into the mitt, they'll say, but it doesn't matter either way. It's strikeout number 8 for Troop on the afternoon. And it will keep Jimmy Kerr at first base for Michigan's leadoff hitter. And back from that hand injury, Akeo Thomas, who's flown out to center so far twice today.
Top of the order, second baseman, number 4.
Thomas trying to extend the inning and extend his hitting streak. He's reached safely every game he's had an at-bat this year. As Thomas, after an extended absence, making his 39th start of the year, a weak tapper back up. And it's easily dealt with by Troop, who throws over to first, and after Kerr reaches via an error for the first base runner in this game for Michigan, Troop retires the side. We head to the bottom of the sixth. Michigan State still leads the Wolverines 5-0 on WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball.
Unexpected reactions to smart financial decisions brought to you by feedthepig.org.
Well, I finally did it. I improved my credit score. You're kidding, right? No. How are we supposed to be the bad boys of electro-synth pop if you're out there being responsible? The band is about to be discovered. This is our year.
Yeah, you've been saying that for a while now.
You think anyone in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was worried about their credit score?
I never really thought that.
Of course they weren't. Rock stars aren't supposed to think about that kind of stuff. We're supposed to think about how many guitars we've smashed, write aggressively sensitive power ballads, start questionable fashion trends, tragically break up and blame creative differences.
All right, I thought maybe it was time to take control of my finances, you know? Start using a budget, get out of debt, set some goals.
A budget? Debt? Set some goals? Listen, I knew that we'd have our creative differences, but I was hoping they'd involve a little more scandal.
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school, so I'm trying to break that barrier. My daughter Brooklyn was also a motivation for me to go back to school. Every day after work, went straight to school, and it paid off.
At age 26, Kareem finished his high school diploma.
I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Bottom six here, Ryan Newdoff back on the mound, replacing Michigan's starter Alec Renard. The Wolverines electing to save their ace Oliver Jaski for the final home game of the Michigan regular season, which will take place tomorrow night at Ray Fisher Stadium between these two teams. Michigan State leading it here at their home venue, McLean Stadium. 5-0 as we start the bottom of the 6th. Matt Byers back up at the plate. He struck out swinging in the 2nd and 3rd. Newdoff has the count even against him at 1-1 here in the 6th. The 1-1 misses, 2-1 to Michigan State's starting catcher. The 2-1 is popped up and over our heads in the press box here behind home plate, 2-2. The 2-2 is popped up and out of play and at the hands. Byers staying defensive at the plate. Michigan State was pegged to finish 5th in the Big Ten preseason poll. Right now they find themselves in 9th place in the conference standings, needing in all likelihood to win this series as Byers goes down looking. His 3rd strikeout in as many plate appearances. Newdoff with his 2nd straight strikeout.
The 3rd baseman.
Here to start the 6th.
Number 2, Marty.
After striking out Durkin to end the 5th. 1 gone here. Brings up the 3rd baseman, Marty Bikina, whose error allowed Jimmy Kerr to reach safely for the first base runner of the game for the Maize and Blue. Back in the top half of the 6th. Bikina had a solo shot back in the 4th to extend the lead to 5-0, which still stands as the score on the scoreboard out in left field. The 0-1 pitch swung on and missed by Bikina, 0-2. Michigan State currently at 9th in the Big Ten standings. Of course, the top 8 make the Big Ten tournament. And Michigan State will need some help from Rutgers, who travels to Evanston for a 3-game series that starts later today. Probably got underway at this point out in the suburbs of Chicago. They'll need Northwestern to drop at least 1, and they'll likely need to win this series as well. Currently a game back of the Wildcats as Bikina takes a cut and fouls one into the netting behind home plate. They'll count 1-2. 1 gone here in the bottom of the 6th. The 1-2 to Bikina nearly hit him. 2-2. A fastball that never came close to crossing the plate. The 2-2 from the windup of Ryan Newdoff is ripped into left field. Back-to-back hits for Marty Bikina, and he makes a hard turn for second before skidding back to first. 1 gone here in the 6th, but Bikina is aboard with a single.
The first baseman, number 55, Zach McGuire.
Zach McGuire comes up now. Singled in the 2nd, grounded out to short in the 4th. Newdoff has allowed a base runner to reach safely in each of his first 2 innings out of the bullpen, replacing Michigan starter Alec Renard, who gave up 5 runs on 4 hits. Swing and a miss here by McGuire. The count 0-1 with Bikina holding at first base. The 0-1 from the stretch. Newdoff delivers. Low but high enough for a called strike at the knees, 0-2. Newdoff looking for his 3rd strikeout out of the bullpen here in the 6th inning, with his Wolverines trailing Michigan State 5-0. This pivotal home away 3-game series for the Maize and Blue. The 0-2 sent back up the middle. Slater tracking back just shy of the warning track, where he makes the catch for the 2nd out of the inning. That brings up Dan Shimoleski, who scored back in the 2nd after singling. Also popped up to Michael Brodar in the fourth. McKenna had to track back, nearly touching second base before heading back to first on that long fly ball into deep center off the bat of McGuire. 2 gone here in the bottom of the 6th. Michigan State leads it over Michigan 5-0. Newdorf faces Shimilevsky, but not before a pickoff throw to keep McKenna honest, diving head first, back at first base. Newdorf sets, delivers low and outside. The throw from home. Wenson's ball was on the money, but Bivens' tag applied just late. Good awareness by McKenna to dive back safely. The pitch also missed the zone, 1-0 to Shimilevsky. Here in the bottom of the 6th. It's been all Spartans so far this afternoon. The Michigan bats need to come to life, but Newdorf needs to preserve the Michigan deficit at just 5. A nice 1-0 pitch in there for a strike on the fastball, 1-1. A pickoff, and once again it gets well wide of Newdorf. This is going to ricochet over into right field. McKenna is going to make the turn for third, and he will get in head first safely. It's hopped, and then Lugbauer picks it up off the hop, but once again, Newdorf's pickoffs have done him no favors, and for the second straight inning, a runner reaches third base safely. After Newdorf's pickoff goes well wide of his target over at first base, he's got to stop throwing over there because he's given up 2 bases each time he has, and he's missed the mark. And now with 2 outs in the inning, Shimilevsky has a chance to drive in the 6th run of the game. The count against him is 1-1. After that errant throw on the pickoff move from Newdorf allowed McKenna to advance all the way from first to third. Still 2 gone for Ryan Newdorf and the Michigan defense here in the bottom of the 6th, with Michigan trailing 5-0. This one a weak grounder over to the shortstop Thomas. No signs of an injury there as Thomas fires over to first for the 3rd out of the inning. So the Spartans strand McKenna at third. We head to the top of the 7th. Michigan State still leads at 5-0 on WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball.
It only takes a minute to find out if you may have prediabetes, and you can do it at doihaveprediabetes.org. But you're probably not going to, are you? Kids, work, listening to the radio. You're busy, which is great because busy people can't get prediabetes. Oh my, I read that wrong. They can. Should have worn my glasses. So visit doihaveprediabetes.org and take a short test, because prediabetes can be reversed.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
You wanted to be a teacher when you were little, but as you grew up, things changed. Teaching just didn't seem like the best option anymore, so you decided to become something else. But what would your 12-year-old self say? Interesting and innovative things are happening in teaching today, so it's time to put it back on your list. Don't try to convince yourself otherwise. You had it right the first time.
Find out how you can make more at teach.org. Make more. Teach. Brought to you by Teach and the Ad Council.
Allison is perfect. I mean, she'd never tell you that. She's humble and perfect. She likes everyone. She even likes her untidy roommate's weird guinea pig. Allison, wait, are you texting and driving? Allison, no. That's the exact opposite of what I was just saying about you. Why, Allison? Why? Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Spartan Athletics.
Top of the 7th about to get underway here at McLean Baseball Stadium. Michigan State leads Michigan 5-0. Johnny Slater will lead things off for the Maize and Blue as we start the 7th. Just 1 base runner so far for the Wolverines. It came last inning when Jimmy Kerr reached via an error by the 3rd baseman Martin McKenna. Outside of that, Michigan has been held without a base runner. The Troop has faced just 19 batters. He's thrown only 81 pitches as we start the 7th. His season high 110. Back at against Ohio State on April 14th. As we start the 7th, Slater steps back in and rips one up the middle, and that will be the first hit of the game, a no doubter, off the end of the bat, off the Spartan logo out in center fielder. As it's played by Hughes, but Slater is aboard. A valiant effort, gets a ovation from the crowd here at McLean Stadium as Troop took a no-no into the 7th, but Michigan finally beats him, and it's the senior Johnny Slater with a leadoff single to try to spark a Michigan rally here in the 7th, with the Wolverines trailing Michigan State 5-0. And right back up the middle goes Berdar. Back-to-back hits to start off the 7th, and we'll see how long a leash Alex Troop is given by Michigan State's head coach Jake Boss Jr.
The third baseman, number 17.
That's back-to-back hits and back-to-back hard hits by Slater and Berdar. It's a 5-0 game, but Michigan has their first 2 hits of the game to start the 7th here. And now we'll have a conference on the mound. The entire infield coming in, which means Michigan base runners will head over towards their dugout to get instructions from their head coach, Eric Bakich. Michigan State's pitching coach, Skylar Meade, out there to visit with his sophomore lefty, who's still at just 83 pitches, but has given up 2 hard-hit comebackers for singles to start this pivotal opportunity for the Wolverines to try to claw back in this game. They still trail 5-0, but they have some life here in the 7th, with runners at first and second. Still no one out for the hard-hitting Drew Lugbauer, who's 0 for 2 with 2 swinging strikeouts, coming back in the 2nd and the 5th. We'll see if the Wolverines have more life with the right field shift on. The second baseman, Dan Durkin, playing in shallow right field. The shortstop, Royce Ondo, playing to the right of the second base bag for the pull-hitting lefty. Lugbauer takes a first pitch low and out of the zone, 1-0. Berdar at first, Slater at second, looking to run. As Lugbauer calls for late time to adjust his batting gloves, but Keenan knows he can't split second and third base. He has to hover over towards third to now allow Slater to advance 90 feet closer to Michigan's first run. So there is a huge gap between second and third base. The 1-0 is ripped into right field, right into the shift. The Spartans won't be able to turn 2, but Durkin, who is out in shallow right field, fires over to McGuire at first. Slater advances over to third, and Berdar over to second, as Lugbauer hits into the shift.
3, Miles Lewis.
For the first out here in the 7th. 2 runners in scoring position for Michigan's left fielder, Miles Lewis, who struck out in the 2nd and flew out to right in the 5th. With the Wolverines threatening to plate their first run in the game, Lewis takes a big swing and well ahead of that off-speed pitch, 0-1. Troop's ERA of just 2.62 was 5th best in the Big Ten. It's dropped to 2.41 so far in this game. He misses on that 0-1 pitch, low and outside, 1-1 to Lewis with runners at second and third. But Troop with a fantastic start, one that the Spartans desperately needed in order to try to earn a top 8 spot in the Big Ten standings and a trip to the Big Ten tournament next weekend. The 1-1 misses high and inside at the letters, 2-1 to Miles Lewis with Slater at third base, Berdar at second, looking to run on anything into the gaps. The wind blowing out towards shallow right field, but Lewis looking to put it in play. A sac fly doesn't really help the cause much with the Wolverines down 5-0 here in the 7th. Lewis in at the hands, tips one behind the plate, 2-2. First base is open. Infield at normal depth with runners at second and third, and one out here in the top of the seventh. Michigan State on top 5-0. The 2-2 pitch to Lewis is sent back up the middle. Off the bat, the center fielder Hughes makes the play. It'll allow Slater to tag up from third to home, and Michigan has one run back. They still trail 5-1, but the sacrifice fly into center field off the end of Miles Lewis's bat allows the Wolverines to cut the deficit down to 4. Berdar stays at second. 2 gone here for Jake Bivens.
The first baseman, number 18, Jake Bivens.
Slater scores. The Wolverines trail 5-1 here in the top of the seventh as Troop gives up the first run of the game to Michigan. Bivens takes the first pitch he sees here in the seventh at the knees for a called strike. Berdar remains at second. The Wolverines can't afford to strand any runners in scoring position. Trying to put a crooked number up is Bivens, who pops one up into the Michigan State bullpen over there along the left field line. Foul, 0-2. Michigan has Jace Van Senna over there starting to get loose in the Michigan bullpen with the Wolverines trailing 5-1. No crucial relievers expected to be used, especially with another 2 pivotal games coming up later this weekend, including tomorrow night's Senior Day at Michigan. The 0-2 pitch to Bivens, who takes it going outside. Michigan will honor their senior class, including catcher Harrison Wenson, in a pregame ceremony before facing off against these same in-state rivals, Michigan State. 6 p.m. first pitch tomorrow. The 1-2 to Bivens misses outside, 2-2. Before the Wolverines and Spartans conclude the regular season here on Saturday, a 1:05 first pitch. You can listen to that call on WCBNsports.org. I'll be here. Hopefully Kevin Klein will be joining me as well. The 2-2 pitch from Troop to Bivens is grounded to the second baseman. Durkin makes the play and fires over to first to retire the side. Troop gives one back to the Wolverines as Slater comes home to score on a Miles Lewis sac fly into center, but MSU still leads U of M 5-1. We head to stretch time here at McLean Stadium. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball.
You know what really gets a party started? Indoor baseball. Yeah, just find a broom or a pool cue, and you can use like anything as a ball. Cans, bottles, shoes.
Hey bro, toss me that avocado.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Ranger Station, Ranger speaking.
Hi. I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
Well, before I left my campsite, I was putting out my fire, and out of nowhere, Smokey Bear showed up and hugged me?
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it, drowned it again, and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah. He likes it when people correctly put out their campfires. He's pretty big on wildfire prevention. He's just letting you know you did good with a hug. He's a hugger.
I just got a bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update!
All right, I'm going to let you go now. I've got a lot of ranger stuff to do. There are many ways to start a fire, but one sure way to put it out. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service, Ad Council, and your state forester.
K.O. Thomas's day is done, meaning he'll be held hitless for the first time in which he's seen an at-bat this season. He'll still exit with the Big Ten's best batting average, but Joe Pace has replaced him out at second base. Outside of that, the remaining starters out there for the Maize and Blue. Ryan Newdoff also out there for his third inning of work out of the bullpen. He'll do battle against Royce Ondo to start the bottom of the seventh. Michigan gets a run back in the top half of the inning, but the Spartans still lead it 5-1 on WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball. I'm Leo Blavin here in East Lansing at McLean Stadium on the campus of Michigan State. The count at 1-1 between Newdoff and Ondo as the shortstop takes the 1-1 pitch over the outside part of the plate, 1-2. The 1-2 got away from Wenton, 2-2. That one was well high and outside of the catcher's mitt. The 2-2. Sent to Pace, who will be tested at second base. Throws over to first for the first out of the inning in place of Akeo Thomas. Good to see Thomas back. Unfortunate that his safely reached base streak comes to an end.
The center fielder,
as Thomas had reached safely in all of his previous 38 starts, but he was 0 for 2 today. Against Alex Troop, who's been sensational, allowed just 2 hits, both of those coming back in the top half of this 7th inning when Michigan allowed Johnny Slater to come home on a sac fly into center off the bat of Miles Lewis. The count now 0-2 to Brandon Hughes, who foul-tipped one off the inside part of his bat. Newdoff looking for his third strikeout out of the bullpen. Against the leadoff man, Brandon Hughes. The Big Ten leader with 30 stolen bases, trying to reach safely despite a right field shift put on by the Maize and Blue with the second baseman Pace in shallow right center field and Berdar hovering nearly directly behind second base.
Auto Owners Insurance. Please return foul balls to the sales and marketing staff near the press box and receive a prize from Auto Owners Insurance.
Hughes, a Sterling Heights, Michigan native, one of 24 Spartan players from the Great Lakes State. And they've shown the passion needed to win this rivalry as Hughes ropes one over to the second baseman Pace for the second out of the inning. Michigan, meanwhile, with just 14 players from the state of Michigan.
The left fielder, number 17.
As this is the first Big Ten meeting of the year between these two sides. They met in a non-conference game back in Ann Arbor on April 18th, with which Michigan won 12-4, but today it's gone the Spartans' way in a much more crucial Big Ten game, and this will, in all likelihood, end the Wolverines' chances of earning a share or even an outright Big Ten regular season title. Will certainly hamper their opportunity to host an NCAA tournament regional as well, but that will, in all likelihood, come down to how well the Wolverines do next weekend in the Big Ten tournament, which they are safely in. Same cannot be said for Michigan State, which is currently at 9th, but any wins against your in-state rival feel good, and it increases the Spartans' chances of catching Northwestern, who currently occupy that 8th and final spot in the Big Ten tournament field next week. The count at 1-2 to Bryce Kelly as he sends a tapper out into left field that will drop for a 2-out base hit. That'll extend the inning here in the bottom of the 7th. Still 2 gone for Chad Ross Kelly, who's 0 for 3 today. As Wenton gives his signals to his infielders and his pitcher Ryan Newdoff as well. As Ross Kelly looks to extend the inning himself after a 2-out single by Kelly. has him over at first base. Ross Kelly ready to face the first pitch of this at-bat in the 7th and fouls it off the end of the bat behind home plate. The 0-1 misses outside. Wenson was ready to fire it over to first. A move I'd advise against for Ryan Newdoff, who's already had 2 pickoffs go awry from his target over at first base, and Jake Bivens, that has allowed runners to advance all the way to third base in the previous 2 innings with 2 outs. Newdoff hasn't thrown over there yet here in the 7th. The 1-1 to Ross Kelly is delayed as Newdoff steps off the rubber for a moment. Still 2 going here in the bottom of the 7th. Michigan State leads Michigan 5-1. The 1-1 pitch, a breaking ball in there for a called strike, 1-2. As Newdoff looks to go 3 scoreless out of the bullpen, replacing Alec Renard, who gave up 5 runs, including 4 back in the 2nd. A crucial miscommunication between the shortstop Bernard and the left fielder Lewis allowed a 2-out double to drop between the 2 of them in close proximity as that pitch misses low and outside, 2-2. 2 scored on that play. All 4 runs in the 2nd scored with 2 outs, and then a solo home run by Bakina, who's due up in 4 batters. He solo shotted one into left center field back in the 4th to extend the lead to 5. It's been cut down to 4 after the top of the 7th featured a sac fly into center field off the bat of Miles Lewis that allowed Slater to score from third. But the 4-run margin has to be one that the Spartans are comfortable with how well Alex Troop has pitched. Newdoff has done well himself out of the bullpen, yet to allow a run. The 2-2 is sent into shallow right field. Engelman will track it down, but after it hops along the grass safely, back-to-back singles to extend the inning here. Brings up the second baseman, Dan Durkin. Still 2 gone here in the bottom of the 7th, but now runners at first and second for the infielder, who's batting .275 on the year and walked back in the 2nd and came around to score as part of that 4-run 2nd inning as well. Bryce Kelly at second base, Chad Ross Kelly at first base for Dan Durkin. Newdoff working to work himself out of yet another jam as that inside pitch evidently got a piece of Durkin's bat, who swung at it. As right away both hands up came up waving from the home plate umpire Perry Costello to hold the runners at first and second. So the count 0-1 to Byers. As Newdoff's allowed a runner to reach scoring position in each of the first 2 innings out of the bullpen. He's done so again here in the 7th. The 0-1 to Durkin is piped back up the middle, but off the inside of the bat. The weak fly ball caught by Pace to end the inning. The Spartans strand 2, but they still lead by 4. It's 5-1 MSU. As we head to the top of the 8th on the Michigan Baseball Student Radio Network, WCBN FM, Ann Arbor.
Come on, smile. Oh, honey, he's still not smiling.
Maybe he's not a smiler.
Yeah, maybe he's just not a happy baby.
Maybe he's just being a boy.
Or maybe he's teething.
Maybe it's just a phase.
Maybe he has autism, and we can definitely do something to help.
Maybe is all you need to find out more about autism. No big, joyful smiles by 6 months is one early sign. Learn the others at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
You're bringing your daughter to her favorite pop star's concert. Do you A, wear earplugs?
Isn't this fun, Dad?
I'll have a soft pretzel! B, remember the moment with matching concert t-shirts.
That's gonna be $180.
Or we can just take a photo.
C, show her how you used to do concerts.
We're going crowd surfing!
I can't! It's too heavy! Oh my god!
Or D, just roll with it.
Woo! Justin! parenting, there are no perfect answers. But that's okay, because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org/MI. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Jonathan Engelman leading things here in the top of the 8th, looking to spark a rally. Michigan State still leads Michigan 5-1 here in the top of the 8th. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball. Engelman 0 for 2 so far today. Alex Troop back out there for the 8th inning. His 96th pitch is swung on and missed. To start the 8th, Kerr, Wenson, the next two hitters upcoming after Engelman. Is that pitch inside? Nearly got a piece of him at the letters. 1-1. Troop sets from the windup. The lefty gets a swing and a miss from Engelman. 1-2. Troop is dazzled today on the mound. Likely on his way to Big Ten Pitcher of the Week honors with how well he's thrown it today. The 1-2 just misses outside. 2-2. He took a no-hitter into the 7th before the Wolverines got a couple of base hits to lead off last inning, including Johnny Slater, who came around to score on a sac fly to center field off the bat of Miles Lewis to cut the lead down to 4, but MSU still leads U of M 5-1 here in the 8th at McLean Baseball Stadium on the campus of Michigan State. An infield pop-up off the bat of Engelman, who throws his bat away in disgust. The catcher able to track it down. Byers retires the first Michigan hitter here in the 8th. Chance of go green, go white here among some of the young children. A couple of schools taking some field trips to the ballpark today. A beautiful day for baseball here in East Lansing. Tomorrow night we'll hope for equally good weather when the Wolverines and Spartans square off for the final time in Ann Arbor. First pitch scheduled for 6 o'clock as the Wolverines look to even up in all likelihood this series. If the Spartans can hold on, they currently lead 5-1. Jimmy Kerr, who's 0 for 2, is the designated hitter. Fouls one down the first base line. Nick Poirier getting the day off, the usual DH for the Wolverines, with Akeo Thomas back from that injury. It's giving Kerr the opportunity to continue to keep the bat in his hand, just no responsibilities in the field after earning the Big Ten Player of the Week honors in his first week in place of Akeo Thomas. He continues to swing the bat well, but has not done so today, and really no one for Michigan has. The 0-2 just misses outside as Kerr was taking it all the way. 1-2. Michigan with 40 wins. They got their 40th back on Tuesday against Eastern Michigan, the most since 2008 as Kerr swings and misses. It is in the dirt, so they'll have to throw it over to the first. It's on the money from Byers to McGuire. 2 gone. As Troop is now up to 9 strikeouts, one away from a career high.
Baseball appreciates your support.
So 2 gone for the 9-hitter Harrison Wenson.
Number 7, Harrison Wenson.
This will be the 26th batter, or the 27th batter, rather, that Alex Troop has faced in this game. The 6'5", 210-pound sophomore delivers the 105th pitch he's thrown in this game. Low and outside for a ball. Troop's season high is 110. His 106 pitch also misses the zone, 2-0. Michigan trailing Michigan State 5-1 here in the top of the 8th. 2 gone for Harrison Wenton. 4 outs left to work with for the Maize and Blue as Wenton gets well ahead of this one and underneath it as well. Tracking foul, and indeed it goes foul. Over into the Michigan State softball stadium out there in left field. He really got a hold of that one, but just too far ahead. 2-1. The 2-1 misses at the letters, 3-1. Wenton struck out swinging in the 3rd and the 6th. Has a hitter's count here. The 3-1 misses inside. Wenton is aboard with a 2-out walk to extend the inning. Alex Troop up to 109 pitches. The next will be equaling his season high if he stays out there. No signs of much activity right now in the Michigan State bullpen.
Joe Pace.
And we'll see if Troop has the go-ahead to face off against Joe Pace, who replaced Akeo Thomas at second base. And now we'll have a conference on the mound, so the Spartans may be delaying this so a reliever can get loose. We'll see if Troop is given the opportunity to get out of the 8th inning, which would match a career high back on March 10th of this season at South Carolina. He went 8 innings, giving up just 3 hits and 2 earned runs, but was still handed his first loss of the year against the Gamecocks. Trying to go 8 today, but Wenton extending this 8th inning with a 2-out walk. Still 2 gone for Joe Pace, who replaced Akeo Thomas in the 7th in the field. This will be his first at-bat of the game, and so far, Troop still out there kicking up some dirt on the mound, buying some more time. As the signal is made by the pitching coach over towards that bullpen, flashing the 4, so I think Riley McCauley is up there now, starting to get loose for the Spartans, but Troop is going to go out there. His 110th pitch, matching a season high, is well high. 1-0 to Joe Pace. Pace swings and tips it into the catcher's mitt, 1-1. Two gone here in the top of the 8th. Michigan State leads Michigan 5-1 here at McLean Baseball Stadium. Over at first base is Harrison Wenton, who extended the inning with a walk. The 1-1 inside for a called strike, 1-2. As Troop looks to match a career best performance going 8 innings. Strikeout number 10 could be on its way. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. Troop matches a career high in strikeouts and innings on 1 pitch. His 10th strikeout of the game, his 83rd of the season, retires the side. We head to the bottom of the 8th. Michigan State leads Michigan 5-1. You're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Okay, so 5 tacos of cheese and a large soda. That's $10,012. Please drive around.
Wait, 10,000 what?
It's obvious you're buzzed and driving.
I've only had a few. I'm fine.
Yeah, the food's $12, but getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Please drive around. Actually, just park and come in.
Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
It's important to buckle up your kids.
I know.
Sometimes car seats can be complicated.
I know.
And if your child's in the wrong seat and you get into a crash,
I know.
it could lead to a serious injury.
I know.
So you're 100% sure you have the right car seat for your child's age and size?
I don't know.
Don't think you know. Know you know. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Make sure you have the right car seat. Visit safercar.gov/the right seat. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every time I need time, throw that to the side. Leading off the bottom of the 8th inning for Michigan State University, the catcher, number 28, Matt Byers.
Start of the bottom half of this 8th inning here at McLean Baseball Stadium on the campus of Michigan State University. The Spartans taking it to the Wolverines so far this afternoon. MSU leads Michigan 5-1. Newdoff back out there for his 4th inning of work in place of Alec Renard. Newdoff's done really well out of the bullpen. He has yet to give up a run in relief, and he induces a pop-up out into right field. It's tracking foul, and indeed goes foul. That one carried for a mile. It cleared the wall out in right field with the wind blowing out there and getting well underneath it. The catcher, Matt Byers, nearly had a home run. But it did never seem to be headed into fair territory, and indeed it landed foul. The count now 0-2 against him. Newdoff at 55 pitches out of the bullpen. The previous number 2 starter relieving the man who took his job, Alec Renard, who gave up 4 hits in 5 runs in 5 innings of work. Newdoff induces a foul ball from Byers. The count remains at 0-2. Newdoff's pitch in there for a strike 3. Newdoff's 3rd strikeout of the afternoon. And that'll bring up Marty McKenna, who provided the Spartans' last run. It was a solo home run back in the 4th inning into left center. His 7th of the year. Part of that early Spartan onslaught that included a 4-run 2nd inning, all coming with 2 outs against the Spartans. McKenna also had an error out at 3rd base that allowed Jimmy Kerr to reach safely in the 6th. It was the first base runner the Wolverines had in the entire game, as Michigan State starter Alex Troop went into the 7th inning with a no-hitter before the Spartans gave up leadoff singles to Johnny Slater and Michael Berdar. Slater eventually coming around to score on a sac fly into center, but the green and white still lead the Maize and Blue 5-1 here in the bottom of the 8th. The count now 0-2 against McKenna. Newdoff from the windup. The righty delivers with low and outside, backhanded by Wenson. No swing from McKenna. The 1-2. Swing and a miss in the dirt. Wenson comes out from his crouch, picks it up, and fires over to first for the strikeout. Back-to-back strikeouts to start the inning for Newdoff, looking to give the Wolverines just a 4-run deficit to deal with in the 9th.
Zach Montpelier.
And it looks as though they'll do battle against Riley McCauley, the sophomore from Sterling Heights, Michigan, a right-hander at 5'11", 205, starting to get loose in the Michigan State bullpen. The first baseman, Zach McGuire, up next, but not before getting some instructions from Michigan State's head coach, Jake Boss Jr. in his 9th season leading the green and white. Boss familiar with this rivalry from both sides, having served as an assistant coach under Rich Maloney at Michigan from 2005 to 2007. He also was the head coach at Eastern Michigan for a season before taking the reins here in East Lansing. Led the Spartans to the 2011 Big Ten Championship. The Wolverines still in contention for that title this year, but a loss at Michigan State not going to help their cause. It'll drop them a game and a half back of Nebraska and Minnesota. Newdorf's 1-0 is over the inside part of the plate to even the count at 1-1 against McGuire. 2 gone here in the bottom of the 8th. Michigan State still leads at 5-1. McGuire singled in the second and is 0 for 2 since then. The 1-1 misses low and outside on a curveball, 1-2. Or 2-1 rather. With 2 gone here in the 8th. The 2-1 popped up into right field. The wind blowing it back. Does it have enough to clear the wall over the hill? It does! The wind was doing it a favor as well, but Zach McGuire with a solo shot to right extends the lead. It's now 6-1 Spartans as he needed just enough help from the wind to clear that right field wall, which is 20 feet high, but it's just 302 to clear it out in right. He had just enough to do so as Engelman tracked up that slight hill in right and watched it go. 6-1 MSU as Newdorf gives up the solo shot with 2 outs, and the Spartans continue to plate runs. That's now 5 runs scored by the green and white with 2 outs against them in this game, and it extends the lead back up to 5. Some insurance for the 9th inning, and Newdorf hits Dan Shimilevsky square in the back there to extend the inning even further. Jackson Lamb, Michigan's closer, out there just getting some soft tosses, but don't expect to see him in this game with Michigan State leading it 6-1. Still 2 outs for Royce Ando, the shortstop. A runner at first base in the form of Shimilevsky, who wore that last pitch between the numbers of his back. Two home runs now for the Spartans in this game, both solo home runs coming from previously Bakina. And this time around, the home run coming off the bat of Zach McGuire, his 7th home run of the year. As the 6 and 7 hitters both contributing with solo shots. A foul tip runs the count to 1-2 and will send Shimilevsky, who is trying to swipe second, back to first base. The 1-2 just misses outside as Newdorf had already started his strides towards the Michigan dugout to try to get out of the 8th inning. He'll have to stay out there for at least one more pitch. The count now 2-2. Wipes his glove on the jersey and gets set. Late time called for by Royce Ando. Adjusts his batting gloves and steps back in. The 2-2. In there, called strike 3. Newdorf with 5 strikeouts out of the bullpen. We head to the top of the 9th. Michigan with 3 outs left to work with, but a solo home run for Michigan State. Zach McGuire extends the lead at 6-1 Spartans as we head to the 9th on WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball.
What if I could tell you when a wildfire was going to happen? Of course, I can't. But shouldn't you be ready anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Major key alert! Don't ever play yourself. Life is like school. You will be tested, so pass it.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at GetSchooled.com.
Stay focused. Now that's a major key alert.
Brought to you by GetSchooled and the Ad Council.
Okay, forest animals, today is a new day. Kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow.
Yes?
Have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. Okay, River.
Dude.
How's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man. Perfect for a little riverside shoeless relaxation.
Ah, good. Owl, you here? Course. Who's asking? I am. Look, you know the drill. Sleep during the day, scare the kids at night.
Perfect. I love my job.
Oak tree?
Sup?
Still in the same place I left you last year. That's what I like. Consistency.
Well, it's not like I'm going anywhere for the next couple hundred years.
I know. I love it. Turtle. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. You'd think you would have learned by now to leave the night before our meetings. Okay. Squirrel. Has anybody seen Mr. Squirrel?
The forest has been preparing just for you. Visit a forest near you today. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Michigan State leads the Wolverines 6-1 as we start the 9th inning. The closer, Riley McCauley, out there for the Spartans in this notch, and he has a 1.66 ERA, and this will be his 22nd inning of work. Making his 24th appearance out of the Spartan bullpen, a sophomore at 5'11", 205 out of Sterling Heights, Michigan. Out there with the right hand ready to deliver the first pitch. Michigan will face not from the Spartan starter, as Alex Troop went 8 innings, giving up just 2 hits, 1 earned run. And a fabulous start for the redshirt sophomore, who will improve to 8-3 at the conclusion of this game. Still 3 outs left to work with, though, for the Wolverines, who trail by 5. Slater takes a first pitch low and outside, but a called strike nonetheless, 0-1. The Big Ten scoreboard, Northwestern leads Rutgers 8-0 in the top of the 6th. Not what the Spartans want to hear, as they're still sitting at 9th in the Big Ten standings. Only the top 8 make the Big Ten tournament, but the Spartans couldn't afford to drop this one, and they are well on their way to securing a big opening series game victory over the Maize and Blue before these two teams head south to Ann Arbor tomorrow, and then the conclusion of this 3-game series in the regular season for these two sides takes place on Saturday here at McLean Stadium. We'll have that call for you on WCBNsports.org. 1:05 is the scheduled first pitch time as Slater fouls one into the press box seating to our left here to stay alive with the count 0-2 against him. First pitch tomorrow is set for 6 p.m. You can watch that game on BTN Plus. The Student U crew will have that broadcast. The 0-2 pitch from McCauley to Slater is fouled once again into the netting behind home plate. 0-2 remains the count. McCauley currently tied for 3rd in the Big Ten with 9 saves. Enters this game in a non-save situation with the lead at 5 for the Spartans. The leadoff man this inning, Johnny Slater, behind 0-2. Takes a pitch low and outside. 1-2. In his 26 appearances this year, McCauley is allowed a run just twice. Michigan's going to need 5 to come back in this game. Slater continues to battle well ahead of that pitch, sending it a good 40 yards foul to the right of Michigan's bullpen out in right field. The count at 1-2 to the Southfield, Michigan born senior. The 1-2 pitch well outside. Slater doesn't chase. 2-2. 3 outs left to work with for the Wolverines. 1 strike left to work with for Slater. The 2-2 pitch from McCauley. Swing and a miss as Slater chases it up high. And McCauley gets his 42nd strikeout of the year. It's now 29 strikeouts in his last 13 innings out of the bullpen.
The shortstop, number 9, Michael Berdar.
That brings up Michael Berdar, who's 1 for 3 today. His single just the second hit and one of 2 hits for the Wolverines all day. He pops this one up into center field. Hughes tracks it down as the wind continues to blow it out towards right center. Hughes makes the catch. 1 out left to work with for the Maize and Blue.
Spartans, prepare for glory!
Drew Lugbauer, who's 0 for 3, the last chance for Michigan to extend this game. Michigan State leads it 6-1 here in the top of the 9th at McLean Baseball Stadium on the campus of Michigan State University, with the Red Cedar River running just beyond the right field fence. The wind blowing out that way as well, with the right field shift on for the lefty Lugbauer. He takes a first pitch low and out of the zone, 1-0. Michigan State will improve to 29-21 on the year, 9-11 in Big Ten play. Michigan will fall to 40-13, 14-8 overall in the Big Ten standings. Lugbauer fouls that one up and out of play. Michigan will, in addition, remain winless in East Lansing in their past couple of attempts. They dropped the lone meeting here last year, 7-6. The Spartans have won 3 of the last 5, and this will be 4 of the last 6 meetings. The Wolverines still lead the all-time series 196, 105, and 2. As Lugbauer fouls another one up and out of play. 1 strike left to work with the count at 1-2 against the New York native. The junior gets another defensive swing over the outside part of the plate and fouls it up and out of play. We'll do it again at 1-2. Michigan's closer, McCauley, comes together. The right field shift on for Lugbauer, hit it into that shift the last time up. 2 gone, the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Lugbauer goes down swinging for the 3rd time today, and the Spartans get a pivotal victory in the opening of this 3-game series here in East Lansing. The final score 6-1 as the green and white even up the season series and get a big start from Alex Troop. He's your player of the game, going 8 innings, allowing just 2 hits and 1 earned run against the Maize and Blue. Will return to action tomorrow. That game can be consumed on BTN Student News coverage with first pitch scheduled for 6 p.m. I'll be back here in East Lansing on Saturday, 1:05 first pitch, in what is hopefully the rubber match, but the Wolverines will have to get one back tomorrow. The Spartans take it in Game 1 of this 3-game series, 6-1 here in East Lansing. On behalf of the rest of the WCBN Sports crew, I'm Leo Blavin, wishing you a good night and go blue from East Lansing.